The first time my mother slid the envelope across the kitchen table, she didn't look at me. "Rent is due on Friday," she said quietly, like she was asking me to pass the salt. I stared at the envelope, thick and stiff, my name written on it in my father's sharp, unforgiving handwriting. Rent. From my own parents. In the house where I'd grown up, where I'd learned to walk, where I'd stayed up late helping my mom balance checkbooks and comforting my dad after another disappointment at work. What broke me wasn't the money. It was that my brother was sitting 10 feet away, sprawled on the couch, laughing at something on his phone. Rent-free, responsibility-free, consequence-free. And no one thought that was strange.
And while I'm getting started, don't forget to subscribe. This is where we'll find the wildest family dramas, real-life revelations, and stories you won't be able to tear yourself away from.
I'm Emily. I'm the oldest child, the reliable one, the one who never caused trouble, never asked for much, and learned early that love in our family was something you earned by being useful. I paid my parents' bills before I paid my own. I skipped vacations so my brother could have them. I postponed my dreams so the family could stay afloat. And still, somehow, I was the one being charged for existing. Growing up, I believed our family was close. Not perfect, but close in. That messy, working-class way where everyone sacrifices and no one complains. My parents, Linda and Robert, worked hard. My mom was practical to the point of coldness, a woman who measured love in actions, not words. My dad was quieter, passive, always choosing the path of least resistance. Then there was my brother, Jason. Jason was 2 years younger than me, and everything I wasn't allowed to be: reckless, loud, charming, and eternally forgiven. He failed classes and got second chances. He quit jobs and got sympathy. He borrowed money and never paid it back. I cleaned up after him. I covered F, or him. I absorbed the consequences he never had to face. And somewhere along the way, it became normal. When I was 17, I got my first job. Grocery store cashier. Minimum wage. My parents praised me endlessly until my paycheck came in. "Now you can help out," my mom said. That was the first time money entered our relationship in a way that didn't feel right. I paid for groceries, utilities, eventually part of the mortgage. Not because I was asked directly, but because there was always a crisis, always a shortfall, always a reason. Jason never had a job longer than 3 months. "No, and he appreciates him there," my parents said. "He's sensitive. He just needs time to find himself." Time, apparently, that I was financing. When I graduated college on scholarships and part-time jobs, I didn't move out. I couldn't afford to. Student loans, family expenses, and a quiet guilt that told me leaving would be selfish. Jason, meanwhile, dropped out after 1 semester. He came home with nothing but a duffel bag and a bad attitude. My parents welcomed him like a wounded hero. The rent conversation happened when I was 26. I was making decent money then. Not great, but stable. I paid my own phone bill, my car insurance, and still covered half the household groceries. I thought that counted for something. Apparently, it didn't. "We need you to start paying rent," my dad said one evening, eyes fixed on the TV. "How much?" I asked. He named a number that made my stomach drop. It was more than I'd paid for my first apartment with roommates. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. Jason didn't even look up. And Jason? I asked carefully. Silence. Well, my mom said, his situation is different. Different. That word followed me for years. At first, I complied. I always did. I paid rent. I cut back on everything else. I stopped eating out. I canceled subscriptions. I sold clothes online to make ends meet. Jason bought a new gaming console. When I mentioned it, my mom sighed like I was the unreasonable one. Don't be jealous of your brother. She said, that's not a good look. Jealous, as if fairness were envy. The resentment didn't explode all at once. It crept in slowly, like mold behind a wall. I felt it when I overheard my parents praising Jason for unloading the dishwasher once, when they criticized me for being too independent, when they reminded me that Emily sticks together. But the real inciting incident, the moment everything shifted, came on a random Tuesday. I came home early from work with a pounding headache. As I opened the door, I heard my parents' voices in the living room. Emily doesn't need to know, my mom said. I know, my dad replied, but she'll figure it out. I froze. Know what? I asked, stepping inside. They jumped. My mom forced a smile. Nothing. Just adult stuff. Jason smirked from the couch. That night, I found the paperwork. It was an application for a home equity loan, with Jason's name on it. They were taking OUTA loan against the house to help my brother start a business. I was paying rent to fund my brother's dream. I didn't sleep that night. My thoughts spiraled, sharp and relentless. How long had this been happening? How many times had I unknowingly financed him? Did they ever see me as anything but a resource? The next morning, I confronted them. You're taking out a loan for Jason, I said, holding the papers with shaking hands, while charging me rent. My mom crossed her arms. Lower your voice. Jason laughed. Relax, Em. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. I felt something crack inside. Me. Why don't I get help? I asked. Why am I always the one paying? My dad finally looked at me. His expression was tired, defensive. You're stronger, he said. You can handle it. That was it. That was the justification. From that day on, the conflict escalated. Every conversation turned into a battle. Every text from my mom felt manipulative. We're family. Don't make this ugly. Jason is going through a lot right now. You're being dramatic. Jason started mocking me openly. You think you're better than us now, he sneered once. Because you make a little money? I stopped responding. Incy. Though I was unraveling. I felt invisible, used, betrayed. The climax came 6 months later. I just found out Jason had crashed his car, drunk, and my parents had paid to replace it with my rent money. That night, I called a family meeting. We sat at the same kitchen table where the envelope had first appeared. I'm done, I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. I'm moving out. My mom's face went pale. You can't just leave. Watch me. Jason exploded. So, you're abandoning us now? I stood up. No, I'm choosing myself. For the first time in my life, I didn't explain. I Didn't justify. I didn't apologize. The fallout was brutal. My parents accused me of betrayal. Jason blasted me on social media, painting himself as the victim. Relatives called to guilt-trip me. But something incredible happened, too. I felt free. I moved into a small apartment. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. For the first time, my money went toward my future, not someone else's excuses. My parents eventually stopped calling. Jason never apologized. But I learned something important. Being the good child doesn't mean being the disposable one. And love that comes with a price tag isn't love at all. I stopped paying rent, and I finally started living.